Welcome into the Tour Coach, everybody. I'm your host, Tony Ruggiero. It's the start of a new year, 2025. We've been doing the Dew Sweepers Golf Show for almost 20 years, actually right at 20 years, and it's morphed into the Tour Coach podcast from our early XM PGA Tour radio days. And I want to thank you for following along. 2025 is going to be exciting for us. We got a lot of great stuff going on. If you followed along, you know that the Tour Coach they're the stories, they're the people, the conversations that I meet, whether they're players, fitness experts, mental coaches, performance coaches, just the people I meet along our journey, whether it's teaching on the PGA, Korn Ferry, Live Tour, LPGA Symetra Tours, or college players, but especially down at my home at Old Palm Golf Club in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. These are all the stories and the people that I run into that I think can add some value to your instruction program, help you play the game of golf better. We couldn't do the Tour Coach without our longtime sponsors, especially Shrixon Cleveland Golf. Been with them for over 20 years. Mitch McConnell, Buick GMC, here in Mobile and all over the country. Mitch has been such a huge proponent of us. And you've got our local sponsors, Stokely's Midtown Garden Express, Taylor Martino and Rowan, and you can't forget the folks at Vineyard Vines and Bushnell Golf. And Bushnell's been so instrumental as well in pushing and helping us with a lot of our content. We're going to continue to push out what I think is great content, all designed to help you get better at the game of golf. Appreciate all our sponsors. Appreciate you following along. We've got some great stuff coming in 2025. More live lesson look-ins, more content. Hopefully we help you play better golf. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of this journey.
Here we go. So Connor's here we are at Content-A-Palooza.
Love it. Great to be
Cuba
here.
Libre. I love a good rum bar.
Right here.
You got your margarita. Jared Solomon, Mike Doyle, they're the founders of 5 Iron Golf in New York. I've been a couple times. I went to the one in New York. I've been to the one in Philly, done events in both. Had a blast. You guys are the leaders in, I don't know what the hell we call this, indoor golf, and with the whole experience.
What do you think? Yeah.
But how the heck did you have the vision? And I want to talk about where indoor golf's going, because I think the TGL stuff has got to be cool. I want to get your opinions on where golf's going, and we're looking forward to doing more with y'all this year. So talk about how you guys started.
So I did not grow up playing golf, which I think was good for 5 Iron story. Did not know about maroon and dark greens and everything that golf seemingly loves.
Mahogany.
Yes, no mahogany. So I grew up playing tennis, but I was in New York City. My wife was clerking for a judge in upstate New York, and I was 2 years in the city. I needed to find something to do. So I was Googling golf lessons, and I met this guy, Mike, over here at the back of a suit shop teaching lessons.
I taught golf all over creation in New York. I was a club pro, and instead of going south to Florida, I went south to Manhattan and taught indoors.
Genius.
I taught in rooftops, apartment buildings, offices, the back of a spa, the back of a suit shop.
And Mike won't brag about this or talk about this, but now
the back of a spa.
But now, yeah,
It wasn't that kind of spa.
Oh, you lost me there.
Calm down.
it was that kind of spot. Mike,
I was the bad man.
Yeah.
Saying like, okay.
You know, as crazy as it sounds, you talk about today where teaching on TrackMan and technology is sort of like par for the course, as they say. But back when Mike was doing it, he was literally one of like 0 people in New York City teaching with technology on a simulator, and like was a pioneer of what everyone just does now and takes for granted that Mike was doing. And that I think is really cool. And doing it in a city that's culturally relevant like New York City that, can incubate ideas.
And I want to give a shout out to him and don't blush or anything, but like the first time I met him and I was hanging around there and I was watching, like one of the things I've gotten as I've gotten older, because I'm old, like I like not mentoring, but like mentoring and identifying good young teachers. And I knew when I was hanging out watching, I was like, this dude gets it, right? Like this guy is teaching out of the back of a spa and he's figured it out. And I've always been fascinated by people that figure out how to make a living doing it, and regardless of what their surroundings. I was so impressed by that. That's why I'm a fan. I'm a fan of 5 Iron Golf because of him.
one thing I try to do with simulators, look, all the tech, all the numbers, getting the swing right, great. But these simulators these days, getting people ready for the golf course is a big part of it.
Yeah.
So playing indoors used to be something you only did in the winter, and it wasn't seen. It was seen. Oh, in the winter I go indoors. Then I never touch a simulator. We don't see that anymore. We stay busy teaching, playing golf. Our members are hitting balls all summer long. Chicago, New York, we're busy because you play golf indoors. It enhances what you do outdoors. It's not one or the other anymore.
Right.
We've seen that change for real, and I try to do it in my teaching. It's nice. We try to keep it fun and get you ready to actually play real golf, which simulators do a lot better job of these days than they used to.
So what do you think? I'm curious. Yeah. I agree with you. I think I'm finding more serious golf students. These are people that are members at like high-end clubs in the South, business executives, and they're crazy about golf, that not only go hit balls on the range, but they have simulators at home.
Oh, yeah.
And the ones that work in places like Atlanta, bigger city, they're members at places like they go to places to practice indoor. I think indoor practice is here to stay, and I think it's changed. What's your opinion of where is all this going?
I always say, go into our bag room at 5-iron, and you want to get into a club in the country, and you should be able to get there by looking at our bag room. And you're 100% right. And even one thing I used to say about 5-iron is like 5-irons for everyone, and we are, and we're probably more known for being for everyone in a way. But when I say everyone, like Mike gives a $350 an hour golf lesson these days, and we have Pine Valley members and Sleepy members and Wingfoot members, and they all store their clubs, and they're there too, right? And I think where it's going is that if you have the means and can do it, you're going to want to hit as many balls as possible. And if you're working a city or working near a facility, you're going to do it. And by the way, it might be better, period, than going to take a lesson outside.
I think you got to have a good coach to tell you how to practice indoors with all the tech.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we see this a lot. Members staring at themselves on video over and over, and they're not getting any better. It gives us an opportunity to help them for one, but if you have a good coach telling you how to practice indoors and how to spend that hour you have to practice, I think it's a lot. There's so much more feedback you get that if you're able to interpret it. I would 100% rather practice indoors with all that information than outdoors where you're only seeing the ball fall.
See, when I first opened my indoor place in Mobile, we've all talked about that before, and I wish I'd have known you guys when I did that. I really do. But it just, things happen for a reason, right? So I opened this place, and I was able to turn off the ball when I wanted and just film them, and people got better. And actually some golfers that had struggled with me before outside got better because they were less worried about the ball flight. They were way more in tune with what I was telling them to do and filming them, and that we had the force play. And I think there's a value to that. I think with teaching indoors, if you could control it, it's great.
As a student, right, being on the range outside, even with a pro, shanking a bunch of balls, kind of awkward and uncomfortable for everyone. Indoors, not that awkward. If you see, okay, the swing path is right, the thing that Mike is telling me to do, and I'm shaking balls, but the swing path is right, and eventually it's going to be okay. Where it's outdoors on a range or something like that, it can be really intimidating, and I don't care how strong your ego is. It kind of sucks to be shanking a bunch of balls on the
range. And here's another thing, the areas of golf that are growing, like ladies golf and some of those things, women don't like to be out there in front of a bunch of people, right? So them being indoors where it's not in front of a bunch of people, hitting into a bay, and it's just you and a teacher, to me is way more palatable for them.
The goal for so many students is actually just to feel more comfortable. It's not even they don't need to see this performance piece. They just got to feel like they can show up to a golf course and have a little more confidence. And if you can get them to that place indoors, they're much more willing to go outdoors and give it a shot.
Agreed.
I really see that every day, it feels like. So
yeah, I agree. I think that but I think we're just seeing more and more people that you were talking about, in these cities, with traffic, it might take you 2 hours to get out to a golf course, so you don't have time. But now that with all the technology, there's a place 2 blocks away you can go into.
There's no stopping by. If you live in New York, there's no stopping by to chip some balls and make a few putts after work. That's not happening.
Not happening.
You're 2 hours door to door anywhere you cut it.
Also, look, I think this is feedback for outdoor courses as well, but there's an approachability aspect that is more than just it being indoors. There's graffiti on the walls. There's food and beverage. There's people in hoodies. So if you're learning the game or a little uncomfortable, that's kind of nice. Versus a top 100 course where everyone has to wear pants and you can't have, shoes that are shiny and things like that. So it's not just about the fact that it's indoors. It's that the environment itself is like, all right, this isn't too serious. And you can get someone like my wife started indoors and now she feels comfortable playing Sleepy Hollow and going outside and playing a whole full 18 holes. Like, that's crazy success story for golf.
Something I said this morning. We were worried. We put this graffiti on the wall day one. I was worried that the Wingfoot member needed their mahogany, their mahogany locker and leather couch. It turns out they like this too. They liked it too. It's not one or the other. They liked our vibe.
Because people love golf. And I think in general, so I do these retreats, and this is like right up your alley, and out of necessity, when I started them, we couldn't fill them, right? Or it was hard to fill them. People didn't necessarily know who I was or what we did. And so I started combining juniors and adults and all that. Well, now we're at this unbelievable place, Old Palm, crazy high-end in Florida, Palm Beach. Couldn't find them. But, we'll have kids. We'll have somebody from Alabama. We had somebody from Florida. We had 2 Old Palm members. And they're all together working. But in the end, they all love golf. And then, when they're having lunch, they're all sitting together, right? But in the end, they all love golf and trying to get better. And it's fun to me watching people from different crossroads, different things come together over the common thing is that they like golf. And it's interesting watching how we all hear about all this shit about being elitist. In the end, all these people can figure out that they get along.
We run the biggest league indoors, right? We like to say about 10% of the league actually has a chance to win it. About 20% of the league thinks they have a chance to win it. And the other 70% are just there to hang out and don't care if they win or not.
Don't even care.
They're all playing next to each other, and at the end of the day, no one cares.
I believe that the way that I say it is,
you've done this before.
50% of the people there are there to drink and have no chance of winning. 25% are there to drink and think they have a chance of winning.
That's right.
And then 25% actually have a chance to win the league, but are also there to be drinking and having
They're all
fun.
great.
And that's what I like. That night we did that thing in Philly.
Yep.
Man, it was a great crowd, and I've really enjoyed spending time in Philly because I've got family up there. But talking to some of the folks, they were like, "Well, this is just where I go hang out." It was cheers for them that they could go have a drink, but also talk golf with other golfers and then hit some balls or get a lesson. It's fantastic.
You got it.
Kudos to you guys.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks for always letting me come up and hang out.
Anytime.
We're going to do some more stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And, hey, congrats on all your success.
Thanks, man. Same.
One of the best. One of the best. Mike Doyle, Jared Solomon, 5 Iron Golf. We're going to do some shit up there. That's how I'd say it. All right, you're the best.